at the end of the day, it's the better platform. You can't argue it. You can't fight it. What's going on? Welcome to today's vlog. I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail and title. Today we are comparing the OG MetaTrader versus new up-and-coming trading platform. It's been around for quite a while now, but I'm sure you've seen it more and more as of late. TradeLocker. It's good to be back on here. I honestly, genuinely didn't think I'd ever be back making a vlog in whatever capacity it is, whether it's a daily vlog or educational, trading, psychology, whatever the case is. I didn't know if I was ever going to come back. I always did this and still do now again. YouTube as a passion. It's never been a source of income. Always just something that I love doing because it brought out the creative side of my brain, allowed me to think of things I wanted to talk about, how I could portray it, maybe in a different setting sometimes, or sometimes in the same setting, the side of editing, and maybe doing a little creative intro, whatever the case was. Fell out of love with it, stopped doing it because I just can't do something I don't thoroughly enjoy doing, because then it's not enjoyable and it becomes quote unquote work, as opposed to something that's a hobby or something that you're passionate about. But we're back. We're so back, baby. And we're doing something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Looking forward to bringing you my opinion on this subject, as a lot of you have reached out via other social platforms asking my opinion on this. And I've given it, and I'm going to give it to a deeper extent now, greater extent now. With that being said, let's jump into it and enjoy the vlog. I really want to talk about three things. Innovation, which kind of ties into the second one, which is the user interface, and accessibility. We have TradeLocker, runs off of TradingView charts, so you're probably familiar with how the chart looks, all of the tools and functions, because it is based off of TradingView charts. We have MetaTrader, the OG. And there's an old saying that don't fix something if it's not broken, which is true in some cases, but in some cases I definitely think that growth is vital. It's vital to keeping your business functioning, outperforming competitors, and striving to be the best at everything that you do. With that being said, I first and foremost use both of them. I execute trades on TradeLocker, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't use MetaTrader. Why do I still use MetaTrader? I like to have my charts set up like this, 4 different charts. I don't have them right now on the screen, but you've seen me post them at some point in time. If you've watched my stuff for long enough, I have different stuff that I put on my charts that, yes, of course I can use on TradeLocker, but I already have it set up on here. And for me, it's just, I have it on here. If for whatever reason, obviously MetaTrader just stops functioning, then that's a different case. I have no issue moving that stuff over, but for now I don't need to. It serves its purpose on MetaTrader. MetaTrader serves its purpose for me for that. And yeah, I like to use those tools that I still have, that I've used from 2017. I like to still use them every day. And it also gives me the opportunity to use those said tools on MetaTrader and then come back to TradeLocker and look more at price action instead of just having everything all together in one place and just having a lot of clutter. And I don't use a lot of things. If you're a student of mine or you've watched me long enough, you probably know what I'm talking about, the certain things that I use to trade gold. But I mean, they do take up space on the chart. and sometimes can take away from what's happening with price action and actually happening on the chart itself. So that's why I like to use the two of them. I've used MetaTrader now for, it's also a thing of kind of like habit, you know, just out of habit. I've used it now for better part of 9 years, probably a little more than 9 years, or around the 9 year mark now. So for me, it's something that I can use with my eyes closed. Downside of MetaTrader is if I draw a line here, I go log into my trading account on a different computer, that line's not going to exist. My chart setup's not going to exist. My template's not going to exist. The colors I use, the way I have the toolbar, none of that stuff is going to exist, right? Whereas TradeLocker, if you use it, you're well aware that any analysis you do, you log into your same account on another computer, on your cell phone, on your iPad, whatever the case is. You're out at the mall. You need to see your analysis quickly. Log in. You put TradeLocker on the Apple Store computer. Log into your account. Do your analysis. Your analysis is there from what you did at home. Obviously, make sure you log out if you do something like that, because you don't want some random person having access to your trading account. But you get the point. You know, the accessibility of having your analysis that you've done on different computers. You know, it's sometimes you do your analysis and maybe you don't remember what you did, and you have your desktop at home and you have your laptop with you. You know, you can log in, same account. You see your analysis instead of having to sit there and waste time and think about, or maybe because now the market moved a certain way, your analysis is maybe altered by that, or you're stressed out, so your analysis is maybe altered by that. There's so many different variables, right? And having access to your analysis that you did on your main device is really something important to me, at least, and I'm sure that it's important to a lot of people. The user interface, if you've used TradingView, you're familiar with it. You're familiar with where the different time frames are, how to add indicators, the different tools here. I have two specific ones that I like using when I do my analysis, especially on live trading sessions with my students. TradeLocker is what I use anytime I do a live session, anytime I execute a trade, so on and so forth. And I have the two most used tools here favorited. I have them up there, and obviously the rest of the tools here. Then we have the markets panel, which shows you everything you have favorited. If I unfavorite that, it shows everything. If I go back, boom, your lot size. If we make this bigger, you know, this is stuff that obviously MetaTrader doesn't have, where we put a stop loss. We can put the stop loss that we want in ticks. We can put the price. We can put how much we can see how much we will be risking based on the lot size, the percentage of balance it's going to use up. Same thing with the take profit, sell, buy, control of your risk. A lot more stuff on here to really help you. We can see here some tools popped up for a drafted take profit and stop loss. We have trades panel, which is along the bottom. Very simply just shows you your positions, your pending positions, closed positions, balance, profit, loss, equity, margin used, margin available, margin level. Nice little tool there to help you out. I'd say honestly, we close the order panel. Shows us just the market panel. Again, if we close that and open just the order panel, we have that same thing that we were using before. Nice little feature as well, which I like a lot. And again, if you want to use a trailing stop on MetaTrader, you can. There is the trailing stop. I don't think that it'll show it here anywhere. There is the option to use a trailing stop. Unfortunately, to use a trailing stop loss on MetaTrader, you have to have something called a VPS, which is technically you're logging into a computer somewhere else. You're using an IP address of a computer from somewhere else, which is constantly running 24 hours around the clock, which allows you to run a trailing stop loss. If you put one on your computer, desktop, laptop, whatever it is, and the device goes to sleep, it will turn off your trailing stop loss. You need to have a VPS to be able to use it. It has its pros and cons. With using a VPS, I've spoken about it in the past. I'm not going to get back into that again. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go back and watch that. But yeah, MetaTrader's MetaTrader. For the people that have used it for a long time, it's second nature. You know, you can blindfold me, and because I've had even all of my toolbar along the top the same. I use the 4 charts always with the 4 different time frames. I made so many different templates. I know all the little ins and outs of certain little things that it's second nature. You know, you blindfold me and I know how to use it. I'm getting there with TradeLocker. I'm very familiar with it. I think the biggest issue is I was never a fan of TradingView. Why? Because for me, it just didn't make sense to have a platform that I can't execute trades off of. And I think that that's a very big gap in the market that TradeLocker took advantage of. And I think that it's amazing because a lot of people, I'd say a big market share of people use TradeLocker or TradingView. Sorry, we're using TradingView to do their analysis and executing their trades on MetaTrader. For me, it just never made sense. I also just enjoyed maybe the basicness, to be completely honest with you, of MetaTrader. And again, if it's not broken, don't fix it. They've never had to. Maybe they still don't. You know, maybe they still don't have to do anything. They still have the brokers that use them that are never going to stop using them. They still have the clients that love MetaTrader, that diehard MetaTrader users. Whatever the case is, I think anyone that's in the industry or has been in the industry for at least, let's say, the last year or two is well aware of everything that happened with MetaTrader and all of the unregulated brokers losing their licenses. So, I mean, that obviously had a big effect on the user base of MetaTrader and it wasn't really optional anymore. It forced people to find solutions and to go to different platforms, TradeLocker being one of them. But I mean, when it comes to innovation, I've been using the platform for quite a while now, and I've seen whether it was just things that users didn't like or things that users needed, things that users were requesting. They're very big on obviously the user's opinion, because that's the most important thing in a situation like this, and making sure that people have what they need to be able to execute their trades successfully, to be able to be using a platform that is easy. I think that TradeLocker, once you spend a couple hours, a few days, or a few weeks, obviously the more time you spend, the better you'll get with it. If you have used TradingView, you're going to be very familiar with it very quickly, other than the section on executing trades. But I mean, aside from that, the functionality of the actual chart, how you zoom in and out, how you control the chart, how you can move the chart around, everything like that, it's the same thing as TradingView, which is good because it makes the learning curve for users a lot easier, as opposed to creating a whole platform from zero that has no functionality from something that people are familiar with, right? So I think that they executed that very good. I think that it's very good that they have a Discord community that allows people to voice their opinions, maybe voice issues that they're having or concerns, have them addressed, releasing constant updates every week. On the weekends, they're constantly updating the software, the platform, and optimizing it, adding new features like the trailing stop feature. It wasn't there a little while ago, but people requested it, people wanted it, they got it done, they executed on it, and that's very important, you know. It's something that is very clean, it's very well organized. Again, a very big market share and population of traders were forced away from MetaTrader, and I think that everything happens for a reason. I strongly believe in that, and it came at a time where TradeLocker was pushing the envelope to really innovate, and they benefited from it a lot, you know. And it's great to see. It's good to see that they're bringing out now something called a TradeLocker Studio, that it allows people to create their own bots and EAs and a marketplace to sell them, which I've never used on MetaTrader. I think that they have something similar to that. I'm not sure. I think it's Meta Quotes Market or something like that. I don't know. But even just something like that, it gives people the opportunity to have another source of income. You know, if they have something that's profitable and that can help other people. Obviously, if it's something profitable, there's going to be more and more demand as time goes, right? So that's another source of income outside of trading, which it's kind of something taboo that's a lot of people avoid talking about. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with having incomes outside of trading. I think if anything, it's very good, especially for the psychology part of trading, because it takes the stress off of your back. Where if you don't make, you don't trade, the market's just not moving. You know, we look at gold right here on the chart. Since last Tuesday, not this Tuesday past, but the Tuesday before, the market has not moved since it fell on that prior Monday. You know, maybe the way you trade, your trade setups don't allow you to take setups in a ranging, consolidating, accumulative market like this, right? And having that second source of income, selling an EA, selling a trading bot that is also making other people money and making you money too. You know, you have your income from trading, you have your income from selling the product, you have your income from the actual product itself, you know. I think that it's very important for traders to have multiple sources of income, because again, like I said, it takes the stress off your back that if you don't trade for a week, a few weeks, a few days, a month, whatever the case is, you have that peace of mind that you still have money coming in, right? And I think that TradeLocker executed that very, very well, to give people a place where they can provide a service to other people and make money from it. Yeah, overall, I mean, listen, MetaTrader's MetaTrader. This is not to bash them, because it has its pros, it has its cons, just like everything in life does, just like TradeLocker does, just like TradingView does, just like every other app and software that you use on the computer, on your phone. Everything has its pros and cons. But it's about, we live in a very fast-paced environment and world where things are changing rapidly. And again, sometimes if it's not broken, don't try to fix it is relevant, and sometimes it's not. It depends on who it's catered to. But I think that innovation is very important. I think that growth can't happen without innovation, and maybe some people don't feel like they need to innovate or grow because they have such a big market share already, and other people, they could already have a big market share, but they're just hungry and they want more, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But I think that they executed on the platform very well. Still things that to work on, to grow, but that's again just like anything in life. That's not, nothing perfect exists. There's no such thing as anything perfect. So that's going to be with any business, with any software, with any platform, with any clothing. You buy designer clothing, and there's flaws in it. You know, it's not a absolutely perfect, flawless garment. There's going to be maybe out of the 10 t-shirts that are selling on the rack, one has a stitch that's not the best on the sleeve, the other one has a stitch that's not the best on the hem, on the waist, whatever the case is, right? So it just comes down to personal preference, really, what you're looking for out of a platform, what you need as a trader, and yeah, that's just it. Again, all of this just comes down to personal preference. Those are for me, innovation, user interface, how easy is it to use, accessibility, can I access my analysis in different places, different softwares, or different computers, sorry, not softwares. MetaTrader, unfortunately, without certain tools, does not allow you to do that, whereas TradeLocker does. User interface, I'd say for both of them, it's probably tied. Obviously, the user interface is much more modern and nicer on TradeLocker. It's a lot nicer to trade on. innovation, I think that it goes without saying which one is winning in the innovation section. So I mean, it comes down to personal preference. It also comes down to what your broker that you're using offers. Certain brokers unfortunately have not executed on the opportunity to work with TradeLocker. Some brokers offer MetaTrader. A lot of brokers still offer MetaTrader. I just believe absolutely zero in the US, into US clients, which it is what it is. It's what happened in the market and in the industry, and it's something that people had to deal with and find solutions. Some people did, some people didn't, and it is what it is. It's life. But yeah, it just comes down to personal preference. This is just my opinion, my outlook on it. Obviously, I'm neutral in some aspects. At the end of the day, it's the better platform. You can't argue it, you can't fight it. TradeLocker is the better platform. Leaning more towards TradeLocker and other aspects that just has to do with my personal trading career, and just comfort out of using something for so long, using something as in MetaTrader for so long, that I just have certain tools still on there that I use. If I lost access and MetaTrader just decided to close all their platform worldwide and no one could ever use MetaTrader again, I could do everything that I do on MetaTrader on TradeLocker. So that's not a question, but yeah, I hope this brought you some insight. I mean, if you have used a TradeLocker demo account and you're on a broker that doesn't offer TradeLocker, reach out to your broker and tell them to think about it, at least, give it a thought and do their own investigation into seeing if it's worth partnering with TradeLocker. I think that it's still very early stages for TradeLocker, and I think that there's a lot of innovation that's still to come. And that seeing how it's built by people that are in the industry per se, as in like actually, young, hungry, motivated people to really keep pushing the envelope. I think that this is an even drop in the bucket as to where TradeLocker will be in 2, 4, 6 years from now, innovation wise. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Anything specific you want to learn about or ideas for future content, feel free to drop it in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.